The world feels more chaotic than ever, right? And it seems like one question is on everybody's mind. It used to have a pretty simple answer, but now it's the key to understanding almost every major headline you read.
So let's just ask it. Who actually runs the world? I mean, is it a country, a corporation, maybe an idea? For decades, that answer was pretty clear. But now, it kind of feels like the throne of global power is empty. Or is it?
To figure out who might be sitting on that throne today, we first have to understand how it got empty in the first place. The simple answers about who's in charge, well, they've completely broken down, and it's left a lot of us feeling confused. Now, if you're, say, over 45, this timeline is probably going to feel pretty familiar. You grew up in a bipolar world, right? Dominated by two giants, the US and the USSR. Then the Soviet Union collapsed, and boom, we were in a unipolar era, with the United States as the undisputed lone superpower. But about 15 years ago, that started to crack, leaving us where we are today, in what feels like a leaderless world.
So what happened? Why did that unipolar world just fall apart? Well, according to political scientist Ian Bremmer, it really just boils down to three key reasons. First, you've got Russia, a former superpower that got left out of the new club, and now it's in decline and, well, pretty angry about it. Second, China. We invited them in, thinking, hey, as they get richer, they'll become more like us. Turns out, nope, they didn't. And third, and this is a big one, millions of people right here in Western democracies felt totally left behind by globalization. That led to a complete collapse of trust in their own governments. Bremmer says these three things are driving almost all the geopolitical tension we feel today.
But here's the thing. This leaderless world, it isn't the final chapter. The real question is, what comes next? And the answer? This is the key to the whole puzzle. We're not getting one new global order, we're getting three of them, all existing at the exact same time.
Okay, let's break down the first of these three orders, the security order. This one is all about military might, and honestly, it's the one that's changed the least.
Yeah, when you're talking about security, the world is still very much unipolar. The United States is literally the only country on Earth that can project its military power into every single corner of the planet. No one else even comes close.
And if you look at what's been happening lately, this reality has only gotten stronger. The war in Ukraine has made European allies more dependent on NATO, and worries about China's rise are pushing Asian allies even closer to the US for protection. Meanwhile, Russia's military has been dramatically weakened. So for the foreseeable future, this unipolar security order looks unshakable.
But running in parallel to that is a completely different system. Welcome to the Second World Order, the economic order.
See, in the world of money and trade, power is shared. There isn't one single country that can call all the shots. The US can't just use its military dominance to tell other countries what to do with their economies. Nope. This is a multipolar world.
And here, the picture is completely different. The United States is a huge player, for sure, but so are China, the European Union, Japan, and a rising India. In fact, it's kind of crazy, but despite all the political tension, US-China trade is at an all-time high. Everyone wants a piece of the Chinese market, which is on track to become the world's largest by 2030.
Okay, so just to recap, we've got two orders operating at the same time. A unipolar security order, led by the US, and a multipolar economic order, where power is shared. These two systems are in constant tension with each other, but for now, they both coexist.
But there's a third order emerging, and this one operates on a completely different plane. This is the digital order, and you could argue it's the most disruptive of all. It's shaping how we live, what we think, and even who we are. And here's the absolute game changer. This new digital order, it isn't run by governments. It's run by a handful of technology companies. Think about this for a second. It was tech companies that kept Ukraine online and allowed President Zelensky to lead after the Russian invasion. Tech companies decide if a former president can speak, totally unfiltered, to hundreds of millions of people. And their platforms, through disinformation, fueled actual insurrections in the US, Canada, and Brazil. This is real-world geopolitical power. And the power goes even deeper than that, right down to our own identities. It used to be nature versus nurture. Now, who we are is increasingly determined by nature, nurture, and the algorithm. Questioning authority today means questioning the algorithm. That is a staggering amount of power. So there it is. That's the full picture. Three coexisting world orders. a unipolar security order led by the US, a multipolar economic order with shared power, and this brand new digital order, where tech companies are the new sovereigns. Bremer actually calls this a techno-polar world.
And that brings us to the most critical question of all. What happens next? I mean, where is this new digital order taking us?
Well, we're facing one of three potential futures. One is a technology Cold War, where the digital world just splits in two, one half aligned with the US and the other with China. Another is a new form of digital globalization, where tech giants stay global, competing with governments for influence. Or, in the most extreme scenario, we could see a truly techno-polar order, where governments just kind of fade away and tech companies become the dominant actors on the global stage.
This leaves us with some pretty urgent questions for the titans of this new digital order. As you unleash powerful new AIs onto the world, are you going to act accountably?
Are you going to keep using advertising models that make massive profits by turning us, the citizens, into products? You know, models that are fueled by hate and misinformation and are actively ripping our societies apart?
You know, Bremer makes a really stark observation here. Back in 1989, the US was the world's #1 exporter of democracy. Today, he argues, it has become the principal exporter of tools that destroy democracy.
Which leaves us with the final, haunting question for the tech leaders who create and control these tools. Are you okay with that? Because the rest of us, we need an answer.